Hello, good afternoon. How are you? Forgive the sunglasses. I got a bit of a headache, so I'm trying to stay away from the light. Um, I've touched base on a lot of subjects over these last few months that I've had a channel. Most of it has been contained to shorts because people seem to have attention span for shorts more than they do for anything over 3 or 4 videos, right? Three or 4 minutes. Sorry, guys. It was a long day at work. Um, we've all heard of the law of attraction. We've all heard, you don't always get what you want, you get what you need, right? That has multiple meanings that you don't always get what you want, you get what you need, right? Now, we've all been taught, or heard of, or been talked about, or you've watched videos about the law of attraction. There are people that believe that, like, law of attraction means that if you want something and you speak it out loud into reality, it'll come to you. I'm afraid it doesn't work that way, right? Otherwise, we'd all be rich millionaires and be dating somebody really hot, right? It's not the way it works. Your reality is a reflection of you, right? Everything that you attract in life is based on how you feel, what you attract. You are what you are, what you eat, you are what you attract, yada, yada, yada. To give you a little more clarity on that, we've all heard of energies, right? Good vibes, bad vibes. Some people set you the wrong way. Some people, hit you the right way, right? What that's trying to tell you is that you attract what you are. You don't attract what you think you are. You don't attract who you think you are. You don't attract what you think you want or what you want. You attract what you want at a deep inner subconscious level, right? Because we can all pretend certain stuff. How can I give you an example? Have you ever, and this is unfortunate, not make no light of it whatsoever, right? And you see somebody famous, and they look happy and they look great and they're successful, they have money, they have fame, and then you find out that they committed suicide, right? And you're like, how in the hell did that person commit suicide, right? They had it all. They had money, they had fame, they had riches, they had wealth, they had people that loved them, yada, 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 right? And again, there goes the point, the fact that we don't know that person at the innermost deep level of what they were feeling or who they thought they were themselves, right? We can reflect or we can project a lot about us, right? The way we dress. Oh, look at that guy, man. He must have it together. He dresses well. He takes care of himself. He has a nice car. He has a nice looking wife, or she has a nice looking husband, or oh, look at they have a perfect house, beautiful kids. That is what you see on the outside. That is what they are projecting. That is not what is inside, right? What you project externally compared to internally are completely different things, right? You might look successful, you might dress really nice, you might take care of yourself. You're like, oh wow, man. You know, Another example, you see a couple out in public, right? And the woman is fairly attractive, and the guy is not ugly or anything, but he's nothing special. He's not dressed up. He's just average looking, and then you're like, well, what the hell, man? How does a guy like that have that woman? What's going on there, right? Yada yada yada. Because we focus so much on external validation and what we think we should look like, what we think we should dress like, and that if we dress really good or we take care of ourselves, or we're gonna attract, somebody great into our lives, right? And what a lot of us fail to see is that the physical attributes, the external attributes, are not, how can I tell you, how can I say it's not what really drives the machine, right? It's not what that person really is all about, right? I'll give you another example, right? You could go buy a really nice car, nice looking car. We're not talking about a brand new car, or even a brand new car, but let's focus more on something more abstract that we can understand, something more normal, You're, let's say you're 20 years old, right? You got your job, you finished high school, you're working hard, you go to get a car, right? Your budget is limited, but you go buy a car, right? And you see a couple of cars, right? You see this car that looks a little run down and everything, right? For, let's say, 4 to 5 grand, right? Then you see this nice sports car, it looks fancy, it looks fast, it's got a nice paint job. You're thinking, oh man, yeah, like if these girls see me in that car, I look so much cooler and stuff, right? So what are you looking at? You're looking at the external validation of that vehicle, right? You're not understanding the internal component, right? The engine, the combustion system, the transmission, all the inner workings of that vehicle, right? All you are impressed with right now is what it presents, right? A sports car, much better looking than that other average car you're looking at, and yes, it might be worth 10,000 instead of 5,000, but hey man, you're gonna turn a lot of heads. You're gonna attract a lot of people with that external, validation you'll get from the external looks of that vehicle, right? Not necessarily the inner workings of that vehicle, right? Same thing applies to people, right? You see somebody that's attractive, so do you think anything bad? Not necessarily, unless you come into a situation where you come in direct contact with that person and they shut you off or they're full of themselves or something. But if you're at a distance and you see somebody attractive or somebody you work with that's attractive, you don't really know them. You know, like the external appearance or what they project at the workplace or wherever it is, whether it's a fellow student or a fellow co-worker or somebody at your gym, whatever, right? You don't know that person inside and out, right? You just know the external projection, right? And some people are really good at projecting that they are nice, that they are caring, that they're all this, right? But you don't really know how that person feels inside. And I'm not trying to knock on anybody. I'm just being sincere about how we visualize people without really knowing somebody and what we project in our brains about them, right? Now, getting back to this, I'm getting a little carried away, so I apologize, but I just wanted to make a comparison point, right? So everything that we attract in our lives is a direct mirror or magnet, if you want to call it, to what we are deep inside. I might look, and I'm not using myself as an example, but just, like I like to dress good, I like to take care of myself, But does that mean that I'm fully together inside, right? Like, how do I feel emotionally? How do I feel internally, right? That is what really matters and what we don't always like see in people, right? We only see what we see on the outside, not the inside, right? So what we are attracting, I'm talking about you and me and everybody else in this world, be they rich, be they poor, be they happy, be they sad, what you project externally, you think you're going to attract, right? Well, I dress nice. I make decent money, I have a car, I have a place, I have my own apartment. Why aren't I attracting anybody, Why isn't, and Joe Schmo over there, who's kind of a putz, is with this nice girl, what the hell's going on, right? Well, guess what? Joe Schmo, who might not look that great, but has a good personality, he's got his shit together, he's calm, he's serene, he's okay inside, he's not a volcano, about to erupt with emotions all over the place, right? Maybe he's more calm. He doesn't, project a lot of greatness from outside, but inside maybe he's calm. His demeanor is good. He's easygoing. He's easy to talk to. He listens well. There's so many things that we do not understand, and we try to base it strictly by what we see with our eyes, right? So we, as human beings, we attract what we are at our deepest core, right? It doesn't mean we're evil or bad or anything, but if we are emotionally unstable, if we are emotionally stuck on old patterns, on old beliefs, right? That even though you project that, like, yeah, I look good, I dress nice, deep inside at that inner level, what you project externally is not who you are, right? You're weak, you have self-doubt, you don't believe in yourself, you question yourself, you think that you cannot achieve that, you don't believe in yourself, So what we project outwards and what we show the world is not what we're really thinking deep inside of our brains and in our hearts and our deeper emotions, right? At a subconscious level, right? If at a subconscious level we don't really believe in ourselves, and every time we walk out in public, we are giving off those vibes. We're not giving the vibes off of like, yeah, my clothes are good, I dress nice, I take care of myself, I smell good. Yeah, that's visual. That's a visual attraction, for lack of a better word, or a visual view of you, right? But your energies, your deepest, innermost energies, like your energy waves that you are projecting outward from inside, not from this shell, not from this external view of that other people see of us, right? But what we are deep inside, right? Like what we truly feel inside when we're out in public. I'm not good enough. I'm too short. I'm too thin. I don't make enough money. My car's not good enough. I don't, whatever you might want to think of yourself, that we diminish ourselves at a subconscious level, right? At a subconscious level, right? If we're petty, if we're jealous, if we look down on people because we think we're smarter than other people, or we think we're better, even though deep inside we project that we think we're better, but deep inside we know we're not, right? We're weakened. We are full of self-doubt, a lack of self-belief. That's what we mirror. We mirror and we project back or attract, like think of a magnet, we attract back what we are at our inner core, not what we look like, not what we project externally. What's deep inside is what you attract, right? And that's how we attract partners that leave us, people that are like us, that are unsure, that like, oh, this can't be love, or this person doesn't really love me, they're gonna leave me eventually, or they don't really like me, they're being nice to me, but I don't think I'm that attractive, so they can, maybe they're just using me, all kinds of stuff that we attract, that we mirror back to ourselves, right? And until we're able to fully let go of these inner beliefs that we have, that we carry with us subconsciously, right? Think of it as wounds that you have from parenting, or wounds that you have from your childhood, right? Where people bullied you, people didn't treat you right. You carry those with you. Relationships that ended, that hurt you. We carry those deep with us, deep inside. So what we project is what we attract, right? So how I said at the beginning of this conversation that you don't always get what you want, you get what you need. Well, think of it a different way. Think of it as, you don't always attract what you want or what you think you are. You attract who you are. You attract what's deep inside. That's what you attract to you, right? So if you're lonely, if you're full of self-doubt, if you have a scarcity mindset, right? A lack mindset, if you don't think you're good enough, if you think you're too short, or you're too fat, or you're too this, too that, too poor, you're going to attract people with the same mindset, right? And two people that don't believe in each other, or that, there might be attraction, physical attraction, you like each other, but deep inside, at the core, at the very hidden core, which not many people have access to, you doubt. You don't believe in the relationship. You're in love. You care about this person. You feel about this person, but deep inside, you're waiting for that to unravel, right? You're waiting for the moment when it's going to fall apart. What's it going to take for them to fall apart? So any excuse, any reason shown by either one of you two of self-doubt will eventually start crumbling that glass house, right? Why? Because the foundation is weak, because at your innermost core, you don't believe in yourself and you don't believe in the relationship. You want the relationship to work. You care about this person. You have developed feelings for them and them for you. But because you both come from that mentality where you're scarred, where you're waiting for something to go wrong, right? Let's be honest. If you're really honest with yourself, you're like, okay, this is too good to be true. When is this going to be over? When is it going to break up? What's going to be the end of us? What's going to force us to and that's at a subconscious level, right? Obviously, you don't speak out loud, and you don't say, oh, hey, honey, I really like you, I care about you, but, I don't know if we can do it because I'm afraid that either you're going to leave me or I'm going to leave you because we don't believe in ourselves enough, right? No. Those are projections we have internally that we hide deep inside, right? But that's what we attract. We attract who we are, not who we want to be, not who we pretend to be, not what we want us to be, but who you are deep at your core. That's what you attract in life, be it in the work situation, be it in, financial stability, mostly in romantic stability, right? Financial and romantic, I would say they were the two biggest ones, right? We can fake our way through jobs. Let's be honest, a lot of people, you notice they have a nice personality, but then you see them in a different setting and they're not quite as nice as you thought they were, right? But romantically and financially, right? I mean, we can pretend, we can want to be something that we're not, but we get affected. Why are we not getting any richer? Why is that guy, why did he have success in business and he took off, and why did he get the nice woman? You know why? Because at their innermost core, they're happy, they're okay with themselves, they understand themselves, and they're like, hey, this is who I am, but I'm happy with myself, I believe in myself, I'm a good person, I am worthy. But if we have the belief of like, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I am too short, I am not good enough, I don't make enough money, I'm not attractive enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. That's what you are projecting. Those are the waves, those are the energies, attraction energies that you're sending out there. So that's what you attract. Lack attracts luck. Abundance attracts abundance. If you spend your whole life complaining like, oh, I don't have enough, oh, my place is not big enough, my car's not nice enough, you're stuck in a lack mindset, right? And at your inner core, innermost deepest energies, that's what you're emoting outwards, right? That's what you're vibrating outwardly, externally, right? So how do we get past this? I mean, therein lies the problem, right? You gotta believe in, you gotta let go of those old patterns. You have to let go of those old wounds, bring them to the surface. Some people trigger us, right? Some people trigger us immediately, and our defenses are up. Why? Because they're showing us part of ourselves that we don't like, right? Part of ourselves that you see projected in them that we do not like. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to believe that we have that shit, so we try to ignore it, right? And those people trigger us. There are people that, show you compassion. They show you a side of you that you wish you could have, right? Some people show you parts of yourselves that you don't want to deal with, that you don't admit you have. Other people show you parts of yourself that you haven't developed. You haven't developed compassion. You haven't developed empathy. You haven't developed acceptance to accept your situation and know that it's okay and that it can get better, and that, it's not the end of the world, and that you are worthy, and that if you believe in yourself and you let go of all attachments, that you can succeed. You can't move forward, or you can move forward, right? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to touch base on, you guys, but that's practically it. It's just that you attract who you are, not what you want to be, not who you want to be. Who you are is what you mirror back to you and what you attract into your life. So if you wonder why you always attract the same kind of partners, people that can't really be trusted, people that you don't know if they're going to stick it out, people that also have doubts about the relationship because, like you, they're not fully invested. They pretend to be invested. They want to be invested, but at their inner core, they're just looking for the next thing, the next, card to fall off that deck of cards, that house of cards, and just, right? And when there's no sustenance, when there is no foundation based on self-belief and belief in the relationship, belief in you and the other person, you're not looking for excuses as to, wow, this is going to crumble, why it's going to crumble. That's what you're going to attract, right? So yeah, I wanted to get deep into this, about that we attract who we are deep inside, not what we are or want to be, not who we think we are, not what we're trying to project we are, who we are at our core. You cannot hide that. You cannot hide those inner vibrations. You can try to pretend. You can try to pretend your way through it, right? That old fake it till you make it, right? But you can't. If you truly do not believe in yourself, you're not going to succeed. If you truly do not believe that you are worthy and that you deserve love, you're not going to get love, right? If you truly don't think that you deserve to be rich, that you'll never be successful, that you'll always be broke, guess what's going to happen, man? That's exactly what you're going to attract, okay? I hope this was helpful. I hope you watch this video. I know it was a little on the long side, but believe me, it was done with love and attention of what we all go through as human beings and what we need to understand about why we attract certain things to our life. And unless we're ready to like be real with ourselves and understand, hey, I got to get rid of this mindset. I got to be out of this mentality, and I got to be open to believing that I am worthy, I am enough, that I can achieve anything that I want if I put my mind to it and work on it. You know, as long as you are working towards that and you can gain some level of self-belief and self-love, you'll be okay. But until you aren't able to deal with that, you're going to attract who you are at your deepest inner core, and those are the vibrations that you are sending out to the world. And then you wonder, why do all my relationships fail? Why can I never meet anybody good enough? Why is it I meet somebody and it looks like it's going to be good and then it ends and then it leaves, or I can't stay, or they leave and we can't seem to work it out? Okay? Thank you for listening to me, guys, on this evening, this Tuesday evening. I hope you're well. Please message, please comment, please subscribe. It'd be really awesome to know that at least I'm providing a bit of value with some insight in here. I'm not a genius or anything, but I just speak from the heart and a lot of the stuff that I've been through and continue to go through, because we're always growing. We're always experiencing situations that make us grow. And it's how we react to those situations that shows our growth or our lack of growth, right? But either way, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night. It's supper time, so peace out. Have a good one.